the cardio-respiratory system. The cardiovascular system is made up of blood, blood vessels, pulmonary circulation, systemic circulation, and the heart. Let's start with blood. Blood is made up of 55% plasma, which is a liquid made up mainly of water, and 45% formed elements, which consist of red blood cells, which are used to carry oxygen and waste products throughout the body, white blood cells, which are used to fight off viruses, and platelets, which are used in blood clotting in the event of an injury. 99% of formed elements are made up of red blood cells, and the other 1% is made up of white blood cells and platelets. Functions of the blood. Blood is a fluid which links together all the parts and the organs of the body. Its three main functions are to transport oxygen, waste products and hormones, to regulate temperature by circulating close to the body's surface to dissipate heat and thereby reducing body temperature, and to balance acidity by reducing the effect of lactic acid, which is the fatigue-causing byproduct of sustained high-intensity exercise. Let's now look at how blood is carried around the body by reviewing the blood vessels. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Arteries have thick, strong, elastic, muscular walls in order to withstand the pressure of the blood as it is pumped by forceful contractions of the heart. Veins have thin, non-elastic walls and are used to return blood back to the heart, which is also known as venous return. Capillaries are tiny vessels with walls only 1 cell thick. Oxygen, carbon dioxide and dissolved food can all pass through the capillaries. Capillaries are used to exchange. Pulmonary circulation. Pulmonary circulation is considered all blood circulation between the heart and the lungs. Pulmonary circulation commences by carrying deoxygenated blood or carbon dioxide-rich blood from the heart to the lungs. At this point, the carbon dioxide is exchanged for oxygen at the lungs, with the carbon dioxide expired from the body. Pulmonary circulation then involves carrying oxygen-rich blood acquired from the lungs back to the heart for distribution throughout the body. Systemic circulation. Systemic circulation is considered all blood circulation between the heart and the rest of the body. Systemic circulation collects oxygenated blood at the heart and then distributes this oxygen-rich blood throughout the body. Systemic circulation also involves circulatory return to the heart with deoxygenated blood and other waste products that have been used by the body to sustain life. The structure of the heart. Our heart is a muscular double pump. Our heart beats continuously and rhythmically throughout a person's lifetime. Most of the heart is made up of a special type of muscle called myocardium. The heart has 4 distinct chambers. It is divided into right and left by a thick central muscular wall called a septum. Each half has an upper chamber called an atrium and a lower chamber called a ventricle. The action of the heart. Deoxygenated blood from systemic circulation enters the right atrium through the 2 vena cava. Newly oxygenated blood from pulmonary circulation enters the left atrium via the left and right pulmonary veins. The right atrium muscle contracts to pump the blood through the tricuspid valve and into the right ventricle. The left atrium muscle contracts to pump the blood through the bicuspid valve and into the left ventricle. The right ventricle muscle contracts and blood is pumped out of the right ventricle and enter the pulmonary circuit via the left and right pulmonary arteries. The left ventricle muscles contract and blood is pumped out of the left ventricle and into the largest artery, the aorta. Equal amounts of blood are ejected from both the left ventricle and the right ventricle simultaneously. The circulatory system in exercise. Even before exercise commences, the body prepares for action by releasing the hormone known as adrenaline. The circulatory system responds to exercise by speeding up by sending more blood to the working muscles, pumping more blood out of the heart in each contraction, causing the heart to beat more rapidly, reducing blood flow to inactive body parts, making blood vessels to the skin larger to increase heat loss. What happens when we breathe? Air enters the body through the nose and mouth. It then travels down the trachea or windpipe towards the lungs. The trachea divides into two bronchial tubes. These then branch out again into smaller bronchi, which in turn become bronchioles. The bronchioli split up at vast number of thin-walled air sacs called alveoli. When the lungs expand to contract, these tiny air sacs fill and empty. Inspiration. The diaphragm, or the breathing muscle, contracts and flattens the ribcage floor. The intercostal muscles which connect the ribs together contract to pull the ribs upwards. The lungs increase in size and thereby lowering the pressure inside them. The high external atmospheric pressure pushes air into our lungs. Expiration. The diaphragm relaxes. The intercostal muscles relax and ribs move down under their own weight. The space in our lungs now becomes smaller, and therefore air is forced out of the lungs. Lung capacity metrics. Tidal volume is the amount of air breathed in and out during normal breathing. Vital capacity. Maximal inspiration followed by maximal expiration. Residual volume. Despite maximal expiration, a small amount of air is left behind in the lungs. Total lung capacity. Vital capacity added to residual volume. The respiratory system and exercise. When exercise commences, more oxygen is needed by the working muscles and more carbon dioxide must be removed from the muscles. As a result of this, rate of breathing increases, depth of our breathing increases, blood flow to the lungs increases, the amount of oxygen inspired and used by the body increases.